Before he was the president, before the world knew his name, there was just a boy from Queens with a loud voice and a wild dream. Born into a rich family, people thought his life was easy, but nobody saw the pressure. His father was a millionaire who built buildings. But he didn't raise his kids with luxury, he raised them like soldiers. Donald wasn't calm. He wasn't obedient. He was aggressive, wild, and full of fire. At just 13, he was sent away to military school. Not for honor, but for control. He didn't choose the uniform. It was forced on him. Inside those gray walls, he learned how to fight not with fists, but with discipline. He didn't cry. He didn't run. He stood his ground and grew stronger. When he got out, he didn't chase fun. He chased power. While others chased grades, he chased property, money, and deals. He joined his father's real estate company, but didn't want to stay small. His dad ruled Queens and Brooklyn. Donald wanted Manhattan. Everyone said, too risky. Too big. But Donald wanted big. He bet everything on a broken hotel near Grand Central, the Commodore. The city was falling apart. The hotel was dying. No one believed it could be saved. But Donald saw gold where others saw rust. He talked to banks. He pushed the city. He closed deals nobody thought possible. The Grand Hyatt was born. And so was the Trump name. But one win wasn't enough. He wanted more. Trump Tower. Casinos. Airlines. He chased the spotlight. The 80s loved him. The media made him a legend. But legends fall fast. The 90s hit him like a train. His businesses sank. His casinos bled money. His name became a joke. He was nearly $1 billion in personal debt. The banks turned cold. The press turned cruel. He could have filed for bankruptcy. But he didn't. He fought. Sold assets. Made hard calls. Refused to quit. He didn't cry on camera. He made a comeback plan. Years later, he walked into Hollywood and said 3 words, "You're fired." The Apprentice turned him into a TV superstar. People didn't just watch him, they believed him. He turned reality TV into a real empire. From hotels to steaks to water bottles, everything had his name. But the biggest deal of his life wasn't on TV, it was in politics. When he announced he was running for president, the world laughed. They said, "This is a joke." But he didn't laugh back. He took on the media, the system, and the odds. He didn't campaign like a politician. He spoke like a businessman. He didn't talk softly. He roared. He promised jobs. He promised walls. He promised change. Millions believed. And in 2016, he shocked the planet. He won. From real estate to the White House, Donald Trump became president. But the fight didn't stop. It got uglier. Investigations. Impeachments. Crises. COVID. Every day was a new battle. He was called names. He was attacked 24/7. But love him or hate him, he never stayed silent. He was the storm. And after losing in 2020, many thought he was done. He wasn't. He launched his own platform. Held rallies. Stayed in the game. He's not just a businessman or politician, he's a fighter. A man who rose, fell, and rose again. A man who made his name bigger than any brand. From a troublemaking boy in Queens to the most powerful seat on earth. He didn't follow the rules. He broke them. He didn't quit in pain. He turned pain into power. He didn't let failures define him. He used them to write his next chapter. This is not just the story of Trump. It's the story of struggle, ambition, and the American fire. Because in America, even a flawed man can become a symbol of strength. Donald J. Trump, louder than failure, bolder than fear. And whether you love him or hate him, one truth remains. He never gave up. They called him a clown. They mocked his voice, his hair, his ambition. But behind the gold towers and the red tie was a man who faced rejection more times than most Americans could imagine. Donald John Trump was born on June 14, 1946, in Queens, New York City. To many, he seemed born with privilege. His father, Fred Trump, was a wealthy real estate developer. But what most don't know is that Donald struggled deeply with fitting in. He was loud, rebellious, and often misunderstood. At just 13, his father sent him to New York Military Academy to control his wild nature. For many, that would have been punishment. But for Donald, it sparked discipline. It taught him how to channel his aggression into results. When he entered college, he transferred to the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. He wasn't top of the class, but he had a vision bigger than grades. He said, "Why be a manager when you can be the owner?" After graduating, he joined his father's real estate company. But instead of playing it safe in Brooklyn and Queens, Trump had a dream: Manhattan. Big deals, skyscrapers, luxury buildings. When he proposed the Grand Hyatt project in the 1970s, banks laughed. A 30-year-old outsider trying to rebuild a failing hotel? Insane. But he secured financing, cut deals, and made it happen. That project put the Trump name on the map. Then came Trump Tower in 1983. A marble glass monument of ambition. Crowds gathered. Critics rolled their eyes. But Donald kept building. Yet success didn't last. The late 1980s and early 90s hit hard. Trump borrowed billions for casinos, airlines, even a football team. But the economy crashed. By 1991, he was over $900 million in personal debt. The media called it the end of Trump. But he negotiated. He sold assets. He cut costs. He restructured deals. He survived. Barely. And then, he rebranded. He wrote books. Appeared on talk shows. Became a symbol of hustle. In 2004, he launched The Apprentice. "You're fired" became a national catchphrase. Millions watched. Trump wasn't just a businessman now. He was a celebrity. A brand. But he wanted more. In 2011, he flirted with the idea of running for president. The media laughed it off. Late-night shows mocked him. But in June 2015, he descended the golden escalator of Trump Tower and made it official. He was running for president of the United States. His speech was fiery, unfiltered, and controversial. He spoke about immigration, borders, and trade. Some loved him. Others hated him. But everyone was talking about him. The political class said, he won't last a month. Then, he won't win the nomination. Then, he won't beat Hillary. On November 8, 2016, the world watched in shock. Donald Trump became the 45th President of the United States. The outsider. The billionaire. The man mocked for years now held the most powerful office in the world. But the struggle didn't end there. From day one, his presidency was surrounded by controversy. Russian collusion allegations. Impeachment. Protests. COVID-19. Twitter bans. January 6th Capitol riot. He was praised and hated. Celebrated and demonized. Yet through it all, Trump stood firm. He didn't bow. He didn't quit. He kept fighting for his version of America. And in 2024, he made history again, becoming the first president to run for re-election after being impeached twice. Donald Trump's story is not just about politics. It's about a man who refused to accept failure. A man who built empires, lost them, and rebuilt again. A man who walked into the fire, again and again, without blinking. Some say he divided a nation. Others say he woke it up. But one thing's certain. You can hate him. You can love him. But you can never ignore him. Donald Trump's journey proves that even in the land of the free, nothing is handed over, everything must be fought for. He didn't just become a president. He became